Hey listeners, Nat here. Welcome back to Cheers with Nat, the podcast dedicated to cheering on women in drinks. In this episode, we're continuing our conversation with Becky Paskin, drinks journalist and founder of the OurWhisky Foundation. If you haven't yet heard part 1 of this episode, do start there, then come on back here for more. For those of you that are caught up, we pick up right where we left off, with the experience that led Becky to say never again, including what happened 6 years ago and its impact since. Becky then tells us more about her latest project, Drink This, along with her tasting events and TV work. And we have lots of fun with our last call round. Quick questions, not so quick answers this time around. I also wanted to share a content warning that we do discuss a cancer scare, and how Becky has since learned to put herself and her health first. As you can probably tell, we touch on a wide range of topics in this conversation, and I'm incredibly grateful to Becky for being so open and honest throughout. Here she is.
Maybe this will come on to one of your other questions. A certain thing happened in 2020, and the amount of messages that I received from women off the back of this one incident made me say to myself, maybe this is a promise and driving thing, really. Never again. I will never let a single woman experience the sort of things that I've just experienced. And I will never let the next generation of women coming into this industry experience the sort of things that these women are telling me they have. And what systems, what can we put in place now to make sure that that never occurs?
Yeah, and let's talk about that. So in 2020, there is a whiskey writer named Jim Murray. He was very well known for his Whiskey Bible book. And there was a lot of sexist language used in there. And apparently it had been happening for many years. And it just took 1 year where you decided to call him out for it. And it really ignited a massive movement against him and his work, and really shone this spotlight on the inappropriate language he'd been using in the world of whiskey and perpetuating the sort of misogynistic attitude in the world of whiskey. Looking back on that experience 6 years on, I'm curious what you felt in the moment before publishing your Twitter thread. Nerves, some form of confidence, some form of, I'm ready to take this guy on. And then how do you feel looking back on it 6 years later, which some of that started to come out now, this never again feeling?
It's important to know that it wasn't my idea.
Okay.
I've always said this. It was another writer, a fantastic whiskey writer called Felipe Schreiberg, who messaged me to say, I'm writing an article about the Whiskey Bible and the sexist language that it contains. Would you like to comment? And I said, well, I haven't seen the latest edition, so I can't comment on something I haven't seen. Hang on, though. Let me see if I can find one. And it hadn't come to print yet. It was still a PDF. I found a PDF copy off of somebody who'd been given an advanced copy.
Yep.
And I remember I've been at the Lakes Distillery actually. I was on a train back, and I sat with my PDF and I did Control F for as many terms I could think of. Oh my goodness, there were so many things in there. Just was a gold mine of sexist, misogynistic terms. And so I gladly gave Felipe his comment for Forbes, which he was writing an article for.
Yeah.
And I also sent over some pages. I couldn't give him the whole thing, but I gave him select pages.
As he didn't have access to that.
Yeah, exactly, because he hadn't
Okay.
seen the advanced copy.
Okay.
So I sent him a few things. I gave him a comment and I said, do you mind if I also put something on my Instagram? Because I'm enraged by this. It's really frustrating. And he said, yeah, absolutely fine. I said, I don't want to publish something before your article comes out in Forbes. So we both agreed on, I think it was a Sunday lunchtime, that our respective pieces would go out. He said, oh, my piece will go out at midday. I was like, okay, cool. So then I published my piece at midday. I was sat on the couch in my pajamas. Sunday. I'm lazy. And
So you didn't think much of it at the time.
No.
I read something that really fired me up.
Yeah.
I'm going to call this guy out.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know, there's people say, "Oh, you're so brave for doing it." Like, well, I guess, but what did I have to lose?
Couldn't sit idly by.
How is it? How is it brave to read something or see an injustice and watch brands celebrate being a part of that? I don't see that that's being brave at all. I don't know what I had to lose, and I feel like if you don't have integrity in your work, if you can't trust your voice, then what do you have? If you can't look yourself in the mirror and say, do you know what, I did everything I could today to make the world a better place, then what do you have? So, and Felipe obviously thought the same. So he published in Forbes. Actually, his piece was slightly delayed, which I think is why it then came
It
out as
then came
being,
to you.
yeah. So I think his was
Okay.
delayed by like an hour,
Okay.
which was enough time for it to have just spilled out. And
Yep.
I'd already posted. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Shall I take it down? He goes, no, 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 don't worry. Mine will be up soon anyway.
Okay.
So we left it. In the days, weeks, months that followed, I received countless hundreds, if not thousands, of messages from women saying thank you so much for saying something, and then telling me their experience of misogyny, sexual assault, and harassment. And
Gosh, that's a lot for you to
we're
bear as
not,
well.
yeah, we're not just talking about young women in the industry. We're talking about master blenders. Some of the most respected women in the industry have
Yeah.
experienced this on an ongoing basis, and that was heavy to listen to,
Yeah.
but at the same time, really lit that fire to start with. At the same time, I also received a hell of a lot of awful messages, the threats, a lot of threats, death threats, rape threats, publicly and privately.
Wow.
I had to call the police at one point. I had a stalker, I had a few stalkers, and I've been scared for my life because of it.
Yeah.
You know, as a woman, you think about these things, and then there were the articles in the newspapers that he had gotten his friends to write about me, full of untruths, and it just, yeah, it all just was, it was a lot to deal with. But I always, you know, there were some amazing people in the industry who just ran to my side immediately and helped, and they've been such incredible friends and forces, and all women, absolutely incredible women. And I just, yeah, actually Felipe's been fantastic in it as well the whole way. And he actually very publicly said at one point, I've never received a single message off of his article. He never received a single thing. It only came to me. And considering his was in a very well respected
National
publication,
yeah.
international publication,
Yeah.
mine was one single post on an Instagram
Yeah.
and Twitter, and it just blew up. But you know, it's the way I see it, and at the time I told myself this, and I think looking back, I also still tell myself this, is I would rather take all of that on my shoulders than let somebody else take that on their shoulders. If this was going to blow up and happen at some point, then I would be glad to take that so that somebody else doesn't have to deal with it. I, do you know, it was 6 years ago, and I think the rubbish takes itself out.
I like that saying. But as I'm listening, I'm thinking, I can understand why people are commending you for being brave. You know, you would never want to have to deal with those sorts of threats that you mentioned, the stalker, the safety concerns. That's why people are commending you for being brave, because you were willing to take all of that on your shoulders. And
I
other
didn't know
people,
that would happen.
yeah,
How are you supposed to know that would happen?
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah.
And it was kind of painted as this kind of David versus Goliath piece, and I think that's why it was pinned on me as the young woman who's
Because it
taking a
makes a
pop
better
at
story.
the famous established well-respected male whiskey writer as
Yeah,
opposed to Felipe, because it was a stronger story.
yeah. And that's why it turned into what it did.
Mm. There is a song by Taylor Swift, who I know you also love, and it is my song. And when I saw her perform it at the Eras tour, in particular, it's Look What You Made Me Do. And when I launched the OurWhisky Foundation 2 years later, that song with a glass of whiskey,
That's your power
it's
anthem.
just like, yeah, this is my power anthem. Look
Yeah.
what you made me do, because the foundation is designed to combat the experiences that all these women had told me that they'd had.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's my personal fighting song of, okay, look what you made me do, because we're not going to stand for this anymore.
Yeah. Do you think you would have gotten to where you did with the foundation and the mentorship regardless, and that this just gave you the boost to really light that fire under you? Or do you think this was a significant turning point in creating those projects?
I don't think even the conversation around the Whiskey Bible would have even been of interest to anyone if there hadn't have been Me Too, if there hadn't have been
Hmm.
George Floyd.
Hmm.
So I think the world, and also COVID, we were
Hmm. All trapped at home,
we were
glued to
all
our
trapped at
phones.
home on our phones.
Yeah.
I feel like it was just the perfect storm of things happening at once, and the world was more aware of injustices, and everybody was more attuned to wanting to do good in
Yeah.
the world and making the world a better place in whatever respect. And without that in itself, the context of that in itself, I don't think the conversation around the Whiskey Bible even would have taken place. As for the OurWhisky Foundation, look, people say I did it to be opportunistic because I'm writing a book, and I would like to say there still is no book. It's 6 years later and there never was a book, and I don't have a
Awful.
book. And if you have an idea for a book you want me to write, please let me know.
You're like, if someone's gonna pay me for this, come to
I'd
me.
like to write a book, but I feel like they've all been done before. So
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the unique idea to spark and the time. But
Yeah, there was no
no,
ulterior
there
motive.
was no ulterior motive. The OurWhisky Foundation planning was already well underway. I was already talking to designers.
Yeah.
The subscription club was happening. There was online tastings that I was doing, raising money for charity, or I was already doing all of these things. So it wasn't something that I used to my benefit.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Did it help? Probably, but it was,
But you had to go through a lot to get whatever help you did, as a result of that.
yeah,
Back
it
then.
wasn't intentional.
Yeah. Well, the whiskey industry certainly took notice. As you said, many women came to your aid, but you also have been recognized for your work. You previously had won an award back in 2016. You're now a keeper of the Quake. Is that how I say it? I do have a Quake at home because I lived in Edinburgh for a bit.
The quick.
The Quake.
Do you drink out of your quick?
No, I have it
No.
on the shelf somewhere.
They very much are just shelf items.
But
You're supposed to. It's a sharing bowl. You're supposed to drink whiskey out of it and pass it
Yeah.
along, and somebody else drinks out of it.
Yeah.
You hold the handles and pass it along, but no one does. It just sits on the. It's
We need to
pretty.
bring it back. We're going to use that.
Okay.
So that is an exclusive international society that recognizes people who have shown an outstanding commitment to the Scotch whisky industry. Then in 2020, you were named the Icons of Whisky Communicator of the Year and the IWSC Spirits Communicator of the Year. You have also been ranked as one of the 50 most influential people in the global drinks industry by Drinks International for the past 5 years. Out of these accolades, which feels most meaningful to you and why? And what do you aim to do with that influence? Clearly, you're making a big impact, but again, bringing it back to you, what is the vision?
I think it's always nice to be recognised for the work you do, but I'll come back to what I just said, which is I'm the sort of person that when I receive a reward or I get something done, I don't feel a sense of accomplishment. It's great, but then I'm like, well, what's next?
Yeah.
I always used to look up to the IWSC as being the Oscars of the drinks industry,
Mm-hmm.
and to receive that accolade in 2020, that's probably the biggest one as a drinks writer you can get.
Mm-hmm.
As a spirits writer, in wine, there's probably loads more because wine writers are far more respected than whiskey writers. There was sarcasm in my voice. It it's the biggest one you can get,
Yeah.
and I've got that now.
Yeah.
So,
Again, what's next?
but then I feel like we shouldn't be chasing awards. It's not about the awards, and if you're constantly tailoring your life and your output and your accomplishments and your self-worth to receiving awards and recognition, then you're going to feel as empty as I feel when I've achieved something big, because you need to have that. For me, I think the big learning journey I've been on is to tailor I suppose my sense of accomplishment to what other people have accomplished, and through helping other people get to where they want to go. The biggest thrill I have is when I impart advice to somebody and they take it on board and then run with it and they get that thing done and then they're flying. That for me is like, yeah, I'm so proud of that person for doing the thing, actually taking control and going with it,
Mm-hmm.
more than anything I would ever do for
Mhm.
myself. But in terms of going forward, I think the things that over the years, have become more aware of in terms of their importance is just how vital community is, and sub communities. I feel like we need to have small communities and big communities, and welcoming everybody into our spaces in a way that it doesn't just make people feel welcome, it makes them feel really connected, like truly seen and truly connected.
Mhm.
And there's so much to be said for the power of socializing and feeling like you're part of something that's bigger than you. And I think through going through all interviews I'm doing at the moment for the Atonia program, that's probably the thing that sticks out to me the most, is just how isolated and alone a lot of people feel in the industry. And I think that's something maybe I'd like to turn my attention to next, is how do we feel more connected in this industry? Because they say that whiskey is the water of life and whiskey brings people together, but there's a bit of a disconnect within what we're saying about our drink and the way that we share it, and how we're treating people within our own industry. And it's a very difficult time to be within the drinks industry as a whole. Whiskey also at the minute is really struggling. And I think for many people who might be feeling despondent about the way things are at the moment, because things always get better, but at the moment, I think coming together is the way forward. And really, the light's only going to be at the end of the tunnel if we face it as one, as we all face it together and work together. So, yeah, I think that might be my next challenge.
I like seeing the wheels turning to figure out where you go with that. Do you feel, may not be on the same scale, but as I'm listening, I'm thinking about, you feel that real sense of pride when you see people take on advice or get the support they need from a mentor to accomplish something in their career. Do you feel like on a tiny version of that, bringing it back to Drink This, when you give someone a recommendation and they have an amazing experience with a drink at a bar, meet someone new in the industry as a result, do you get a little mini version of that same sense of pride? Is that why Drink This
That's what
is
we
the
live
new
for.
baby? Yeah,
Thank you
totally.
for bringing it back around to Drink This, my other
Yeah.
hat.
So tell me
I
what
just realised we've been on our whiskey for a long time. I have two other hats,
Yep.
Yes, I do. Oh my God, it's like the best thing in the world when you put a glass in somebody's hand and say, drink this.
Yeah.
Which is where the name came from.
Yeah.
That feeling you get, you're like, oh my God, this is
have to
amazing.
recommend this to you.
Drink this.
Yeah.
You have to try this.
Yeah.
And somebody tastes it and you see their face light up. That is the reason why I think people exist in drinks. This is what makes brand ambassadors want to be brand ambassadors. This
Yep.
is the reason we love talking to people and sharing our knowledge and sharing great things to drink. And
Yeah.
I think for a long time, I wanted that outlet myself to be able to share my knowledge that I've accrued over many, many years.
Right. It's not just what a publication wants or what a brand wants. You're like, here's
Exactly.
what I want to tell you
Yeah.
and what I've learned.
And for the person on the other end to know that, okay, it's not just some random content creator on TikTok that's saying, oh, here are my top 5 whiskies.
Yeah.
But
I
who
really
are
know my
you? Like,
stuff.
I don't know who you are or
Yeah.
why you've chosen these things. You might have been paid by that brand, or
Yep.
you've just Googled it, or AI has told you to say this.
Yep.
At the same time, articles online are being more and more populated by AI.
Yep.
So how can you actually really trust the things that you're reading and the things that you're hearing? And I think the more we go forward in this world of AI, that personal touch is going to become so much more important. So I try to, with Drink This, do anything I write, anything I put out on my social media, and anything in my tastings to really bring authenticity and experience. I will never talk about something I haven't tried before. I will never promote something that I don't like. I will never, even if it's a sponsored post or a promotion, I will never work with a brand that I don't actually like. It's always going to be rooted in that authenticity, because I want people to have those great experiences and to trust my voice and to trust that experience too. We're recording this just now at Platform 9 in Brighton, which is a co-working space, and I have a partnership with them where I do happy hour drinks on a Friday. They're such a great co-working space. They do every Friday there's two sites, one in Hove and one in Brighton, even though it's one city, there's two towns. Yeah, if you live in Brighton, you know the whole Hove actually thing. But there's two sites, and on a Friday they do happy hour drinks at 4 o'clock, and they wheel out the beers and drinks and things. Once a month, I come into the offices with my little drinks trolley.
Love it.
And working with a particular brand, I will bring that brand to life and I will share that product with the people of Platform 9. So they've got like 1,000 people across two sites, which is amazing.
Impressive. Yeah.
I can't serve 1,000 people on my own. That doesn't happen. But about 100 people at one go. So I'll make cocktails for them in the afternoon. We do Negronis and spritzes, and we've done highballs and sparkling wine and just things that I've genuinely loved, and I will bring into them and be like, hey guys, drink this.
Yeah. Bringing drink this to life, right?
drink this,
You've got the online community for the folks who can't be here in person, but if you are in the neighborhood and you're working in this co-working space, you got a lovely way to end your week.
Yeah, and I do.
Handpicked recommendation.
I have events outside of Platform 9 as well. So I partner with hospitality businesses at the moment in Brighton because I'm only one person and I also have two other hats.
Because I'm only one person.
It's also like, yeah, I mean, London, sure, but like I live in Brighton, so it's easier.
Yeah.
I partner with hospitality businesses to host one-off tasting events, themed events. So we'll have a tequila tasting, for instance, so an introduction to tequila for people who maybe think that they don't like it. Because in the UK, we still see it as a shot as opposed to a sipping experience. Bringing people beautiful whiskies to taste, and maybe we'll do a focus on English sparkling wine. We're in Sussex, so we have the Downs, the South Downs right near us. There's so many English wine producers near us. People are still buying prosecco, and we want them to buy English sparkling wine. So here's a variety that you can try. Here's the difference between Kent and Hampshire and Sussex, and just helping people find those special drinks, and at the same time elevating the status of some of these amazing hospitality venues we have here, because Brighton is so overlooked by, I think, the national media, by the London set, who don't come down here. It's an hour on the train, so if the trains work properly, as they should, and we're by the sea, and it is just, the scene here is just wonderful. It's bustling, it's vibrant. There's so many incredible foods and flavors and drinks to it. It's just fantastic, and I love living here. And I just wish that more people could discover it and discover amazing drinks too. So, anyway, as part of Drink This, that's my passion, my outlet is sharing that. And the more often I get to do it, that's what really brings me joy too.
And that's why I came to Brighton. I haven't been here, as I said earlier, in 10 years. And I just was like, oh, if Becky can show me around Brighton,
I'm
gonna get
showing
all
you
the
around
best.
Brighton. We're going to go to some of my favourite places. We're going to go to Vine Street Tap, and we're going to go to Patio, which is where I have a residency. These are relatively new pop-ups, and they're very trendy. They're very cool. We've got some amazing other places, like Voya is fantastic. We've got loads of listening bars as well. There's
cool.
quite a few listening bars around. There's On Air down the street. Yeah.
And I'll tag all of this in the show notes so everyone can make a trip out to Brighton as well.
And let me know if you want any more recommendations. Let me know.
Right, it'll be all over Drink This. And the last thing I'll ask about before we start to wrap up is you are able to kind of extend your reach beyond Drink This with your TV spots as a presenter. My mom is a massive fan of ITV Love Your Weekend.
It's such a popular show. It is, it's the biggest show on a Sunday morning.
Well, taking my mom as an example, yeah, she literally comes down, sits in her dressing gown and watch it. And she's like, this is how I spend my Sunday morning with Alan, because we talk every Sunday night. So I'm going to tell my mom, she doesn't know that I'm speaking with you, but like she will know you from the TV, which she's going to be very excited. How do you view that as a nice space to, you're clearly so passionate about recommending different brands and getting people to think differently. Not only are you doing it to the people that know and have found you on social media, but now you have this national platform to get to shine a spotlight on brands. So how do you view that as an opportunity?
It's a real responsibility, I think, sometimes, and I worry a lot about, am I doing these brands justice, and in talking about them on screen. And I want, with every, if you've ever seen any of my segments, whether it's Lovely Weekend or This Morning, or I did a show which is the one we both did, Harvest on the Farm.
Harvest on the Farm.
Yeah, Channel 5. It's slightly different with beer, but with the cocktails, you are batch making up all the cocktails yourself, and they have to be good. So you come up with the recipes, you come up with the ingredients, you make them yourself. I did train as a bartender, so I do have that experience, and obviously I've been in spirits a long time. There is a lot of pressure to make sure that the guests enjoy it, because if they don't, they will say that they don't enjoy it, and then that reflects badly on the brand. It's not just like pouring a glass of beer or a glass of wine and being like, well, that's going to speak for itself, and if they don't like it, they don't like it. I am involved, and I am telling the story. I am bringing it to life for you guys, and I really, really hope this drink is up your alley, because also it's like, what kind of flavors does this person like? What kind of flavors do they like? Are they okay with like a really strong cocktail, a Negroni or an old fashioned, or would they prefer a highball? And if they think it's too strong, they're going to say they don't like it, which means that brand maybe doesn't get as knock-on effect. Exactly. So it's a lot of responsibility, but I love it so much. I remember the first time I did Love Your Weekend was, I can't remember the time of year, it might have been the autumn, and I was on set, did my piece, was driving back home just as the sun was setting, and it was just the most beautiful color in the sky. And I remember a tear rolling down my cheek because I'd just done the thing that I'd said that little me always wanted to do.
Yeah.
Always being that, like, not quite acting, but doing the
Yeah.
performing.
Being
And
the
I
presenter.
did the thing that made me happy from when I was little.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
that just
come
made
full
me,
circle.
and now I get to do that. And yeah, she's
Yeah.
happy. Little
Yeah.
Becky's happy.
That's amazing.
Mm.
Okay, you love what you do, so many smiles and lots of really wonderful positive reflections. And I think the challenging thing is in the drinks industry, many of us are so passionate about what we do, and the hobby becomes the job, and there's a blurring of the lines. You also give a lot of yourself to others. So what is it that you do for you to kind of come back to reset, to ground yourself? Any hobbies or practices, or maybe it's just lots of Taylor Swift music?
Oh, so much Taylor Swift. It is an obsession. I think I'm 0.001% on Spotify fans.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I think I was in the thousands of like her top fans last year, which is ridiculous.
You're just on repeat, repeat, repeat. There
Yeah,
you go.
pretty much. I have just one playlist and I
Climb the
just like
ranks.
yeah, around, around, around. It makes me happy, so don't judge me. It's fine. It doesn't hurt anyone. The thing that makes me happy that I do for myself. Okay, so I don't think I've ever said this publicly actually, but about a year and a half ago I had a cancer scare.
Oh, wow.
And I cover your ears if you don't want anything graphic, but I think it's really important that people know. I found blood in my poo
Mm,
and I ignored it. And then I went and got it checked out the second time I saw it.
yeah,
I should have done it straight away.
yeah.
If you ever find it, go and get yourself checked out
Right.
immediately.
Makes me think of Dame Deborah Jane and all the
Yeah.
all the work she's done
Yes,
there. Yeah.
exactly. So, I could say, oh, this is too graphic and I shouldn't be talking about it, but
It's
we
real.
need to know that we need to know this stuff.
Yeah.
So I went and got checked out. The NHS is great. It was a fast track cancer pathway, and it turned out it was fine. It was just a polyp.
Okay.
It could have been any number of things. It could have been gastro bits and pieces. It could have
Yeah.
been cancer, could have been anything, but it was just a polyp, thankfully. So
Yeah.
the day I got the all clear, I joined a gym that's near me that I'd been looking at that I really wanted to. It's not like I haven't been to the gym before, but I realized I hadn't been making very healthy
Making
choices
you a
for myself.
priority. Yeah.
I hadn't been making me a priority. I'd been putting work first and others first for too long and relieving stress by drinking too much and eating too much and not moving,
Mm-hmm.
which just makes stress even worse,
Yeah.
actually. And so I decided to reprioritize things a bit and I shifted stuff around. So the first thing I do every single day is go to the gym.
Every day. Wow.
Every 6 days. I'm in the gym 5 days a week,
Yep.
and then I run on the other two.
Yep.
And people will say that's too much. I say do what's right for you. At first, I started with 3 days a week, and then I just built up slowly. Now, if I don't have that practice, I feel lost for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So it sets my intention. It sets me up. I then find if I work out, I have a healthy breakfast, and I have a routine, and I'm on, and I can do it. And I know I'm lucky in that I have the time to do this. I've made choices where, I don't have children. I work from home. I don't have to commute into an office. So I have the luxury of being able to fit that into my life.
Design your life
Yes.
with your priorities up
Yes,
first.
and
Yeah.
it's made me the strongest, healthiest, and happiest version of myself that I've ever been.
Yeah.
I'm working towards getting 10 chin-ups by my birthday, which is in 2 months.
Amazing.
So I'm currently on 8.5. So watch this space.
Super impressive.
Yes, but for me, when I was, a couple of years ago, I never would have dreamed that I would be able to be in the position I am. And I'm also lucky in that I found a sport that I really love, that I really, really enjoy. And I've set myself goals outside of just being healthy. I've set myself goals of what can I do with my body?
These
What
little micro ways to push yourself.
yeah, how much can I lift? How many chin-ups can I do? How many push-ups can I do? I'm now doing push-ups with a 20-kilo weight on my back. And it's just given me something, I think, outside of work now to love and be passionate about and think about and deep dive into. And I think that's so important.
Yeah.
And yeah, if there's one thing, if anyone's listening, that I really want you to know, it's or take away from this conversation, it's that you can keep giving yourself to others to make them happy, and you can keep putting yourself into work thinking that those accomplishments are going to make you happy, but you have to prioritize yourself. And whatever that looks like for you as an individual, put yourself first every single day. The first thing you do every day is putting yourself
It needs to
first.
be for
And
you.
yeah, and then the rest of the day can be for anybody else. But if you don't put yourself first, no one else is going to.
Yeah. I just started strength training last year and absolutely love it as well. It's
Great.
incredible. My gym sadly just closed down, just went into liquidation. So trying to find somewhere new to work out, but it's that feeling of now that I've kind of been bitten by that bug and
Mm.
really am enjoying, oh, let me put an extra kilo on the bar.
What's your
Trying a lot
favorite
harder.
lift?
My favorite lift. I really like the strict press,
Oh, yeah.
but I mean, I've enjoyed challenging myself with all of them. The one I like the least is the deadlift. That I find the most
Yeah.
challenging. But I like a bench press and a strict press. So yeah, I'm feeling the
Oh,
arms. I
upper
want those.
body.
I want those Pilates girl arms, but from my guns.
No, but the Pilates girl arms are all built on strength training. And
Yeah.
then they go into Pilates and then they're like, oh, look at my Pilates arms. It's
Okay,
nonsense.
so we're in the right place.
It's nonsense. It's all about lift heavy, girls. You're not going to get bulky. Don't worry. You have to eat a hell of a lot and take steroids to get bulky. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, we're
Lift
setting our
heavy.
foundation to be healthy for when
Yes.
we get older.
And to have stronger bones, because as you get older,
Yep,
your bones
especially
become
for
more
women.
brittle. You're more at risk of osteoporosis. Yes, especially for women. So if you're lifting weight, you are setting yourself up for not having osteoporosis when you're older. And also, as you get older, particularly when you go through menopause, your muscles start to waste more than they have done the rest of your life at a faster rate. So the more you lift, the more you're staving that off as well.
Yeah.
It's really, really healthy to lift weights, and you can start light. I do small group personal training.
Oh, nice.
So it's 1 hour every morning, and I go into a gym with 6 other people, and we all just gossip for the morning. Yeah, we just chat while we're all doing our individual programs and lifting weights and cheering each other on, applauding each other for doing certain things. I love it. So find your thing and stick to it and put yourself first.
Yeah, and I will share a link in the show notes, the podcast that inspired me to get into strength training, which was with Dr. Vonda Wright. She is so inspiring, and it really made me realize the benefits going into the future. And I thought, okay, I know this is going to be good for me, so I'll do it for that reason. And then actually doing it, and the endorphins and the support from the other women in the gym and the feeling of success pushing yourself for these tiny gains.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
And as you said, all bringing it back to the idea of doing something for you.
And I think that in itself, in chasing the gains in the gym, has made me actually drink less as well. Because there have been evenings where I've thought, oh, do you know what? I just fancy a whiskey or a wine or a beer. And I think, oh, do you know what? But if I have that, that's probably going to affect my sleep. Because I wear a Garmin and it gives me a score on my sleep.
I got my Fitbit.
Yeah, gives me my score. But I know the next morning I'm not going to be at my best self. So if I'm chasing that one extra pull up,
how are you going to get there?
Is it worth it? Is that glass of whiskey actually going to be worth me not getting that pull up the next day?
Yeah.
Sometimes it is worth it, and I'll make that decision in the moment.
Yeah.
But it has made me have a more measured approach to drinking, and maybe I'll just have 1 or 2 rather than 5 or 6, and I'll make those 1 or 2 spectacular drinks, fantastic drinks, the sorts of drinks that I would recommend other people have. Oh my God, you have to drink this, and I will really enjoy it, and I'll sit and I'll savor and I'll just love it, rather than just reaching for any old thing, which is what I used to do. So yeah, and I feel like I'm enjoying my alcohol more by doing that.
Well, that leads me perfectly into our last question before we get to last call, which is, we talked about what got you into working in the drinks industry. What is it that keeps you here?
2 things, but they're kind of the same. Actually, what got me into whiskey was not the liquid itself. It was the stories. So a lot of people will ask, "Oh, what's the one whiskey that got you into whiskey?" I can't really say. I don't know. I can't remember. I've no idea. I remember drinking a whiskey, a bottle I found downside my brother's couch. It was a bottle of Grant's. I had a swig. It was disgusting. Thought I'd never drink that again. The thing that actually got me into whiskey was the stories. It was the fact that whiskey is so full of incredible tales of underdogs and success and closures and people defying the odds, and as a storyteller, and I think that has always been me. I think actually that's the thing that underpins everything, from wanting to work in the sweet shop to wanting to be on stage to now to being a journalist, and now I'm a storyteller and I thrive on stories, and I think any writer will tell you that that's what they thrive on. It's the stories. So the stories got me into whiskey, and the stories are what's keeping me here. But ultimately, it's the people. It's the people that are keeping us
give
here.
you those stories to tell.
Yeah. You can't not be captivated by some of the individual stories of how people have made a certain product or how they arrived at where they are in life. Everyone's got a story to tell, and I just find them all so fascinating. And I think the one thing that I love the most about whiskey and drinks is that we're never going to run out of them.
Yeah.
We'll never run out of stories. So long as people keep making and drinking, we're never going to run out of stories.
There'll still be work to do.
Yeah. I'll die before we run out of stories.
But yeah, keep telling them as long as
But I
you
gotta
can.
keep telling them. Maybe I'll come back from the grave and I'll keep telling them.
You'll be haunting some distillery somewhere.
If you're listening to this after I've died, because it was probably this podcast is
It
going
will
to
still exist,
outlive both of us
Yeah.
at some point. If we're coming to you from beyond the grave, then hello.
All right, last call, quick questions, quick answers. Do you have a favorite beverage-related book, podcast, or program?
At the moment, I'm really enjoying The Wine Bible by Karen McNeil.
Oh, this is the really big chunky
The
one.
really big chunky one.
Yeah.
The reason for that is I know fuck all about wine. And I really am trying to learn
You're
as
gonna
much
learn
as I
everything.
can. I know I want to learn more about wine. I want to talk more about wine as part of my Drink This remit. So that's my mission at the minute outside of Our Whiskey is to I need to get my wine knowledge up. And Karen McNeil's book has been so useful so far. The way she breaks down different wine regions and great varieties and styles with some historical context in a really easy to navigate way, I think it makes it perfect for if you don't know so much about wine, and it's quick. It's a massive bit, but it's an easy reference.
Little stories.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's really easy to read. It's like nuggets, and her storytelling is brilliant. And she talks in a way which is really easy to read. So I absolutely love it.
What are you streaming or reading at the moment?
I'm trying desperately to get through all of the Sarah J. Maas Throne of Glass books.
Okay.
I'm on the fairy porn train. And I know people are going to roll their eyes, but don't knock it till you tried it, guys. It's look, I'm a big fan of the.
Is it like what is it?
Are you not?
Court of Thorn and Roses?
Yes,
Yeah.
ACOTAR
Is
is the acronym. Yes,
Yes, I know nothing about it.
They're very good, and I feel like men maybe roll their eyes at the fact that it's fantasy that's written by women for women because women can't enjoy fantasy,
Okay.
right? So it's kind of like almost Lord of the Rings, Game of Thronesy,
But more geared towards women.
more geared towards so it's female protagonists.
Okay.
And things are written for women.
Women to enjoy. Yeah.
Certain elements. But I am enjoying them. The storytelling is fantastic, and it's not just Sarah Maas, but Rebecca Yarros, who has written the dragon books. What are the dragon books called?
Looking at the wrong person.
Iron Flame, I think, no, something like that. God,
We'll find it.
But they're
We'll
all
link it
they're all big books. They're all basically some iteration of fairy porn or dragon porn or something like that. We say it with a bit of a wink, but it's real world building books, and I just
Very popular at the moment.
Yeah, something that's not drinks.
Yeah.
I actually always have 2 books on the go.
Yeah.
So my morning book is when I wake up in the morning, I read before I go to the gym, and that will be a non-fiction book that improves my knowledge, and then in the evening I'll have an entertaining book to make me go to sleep.
Switch the knowledge.
Yeah.
To switch the brain off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is there a dream drinks destination you still want to visit?
Yes.
Where is that?
Tasmania.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, Tasmania. I, in my youth, have travelled every state in Australia. I love Australia. I can't wait to go back to Australia. It's my, I don't know if you ever have dreams about running away to, do you have a runaway place that you go to in your dreams?
No.
For me, it's Australia. I'm
Okay.
always there in my dreams, but I've never been to Tasmania, and I really, really want to go and visit the distilleries of Tasmania. And there are some amazing women that make whiskey in that state, and they keep on messaging, when are you coming over? When can we get you here? And to that, I'll say, when a brand pays for me.
Tasmanian Tourism Board, who's going to get you over there? Visit Tasmania. I see the campaign already.
Tasmanian Tourism Board, take Becky Paskin to Australia. The other thing is
tagging them in
I
this.
have a cat, and I can't
that's
leave
challenging.
her. So, but if anyone's been following me on Instagram, she's alive and well at the time of recording, but she has been given an end
towards
point.
the end of her.
Yeah, she's coming to the end of her end point. So I've said to myself, when she goes, I'm off to Tassie.
Then that'll be a goodbye to her and a little.
That'll be her funeral.
Yeah. Is there a person, living or dead, you would like to share a drink with? Taylor Swift.
Yes, Taylor Swift. God, do you know what? She wasn't the first person that came to mind. What the hell?
Who was it?
My grandma.
Oh, I think that's a little bit more powerful. Yeah.
My grandma, I had a very Jewish grandma, very Jewish grandma. And she was very She was very lovable, very sweet, very kind, very strict. But she did love vodka.
Okay.
Yeah, she could drink vodka neat, and not always, but on the times where she'd come to my house and she'd be like, "Oh, you have vodka?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've actually got a Polish vodka because that's where her family were from."
Hmm.
And so I'd pour her a little Polish Zabrovka.
Nice.
Yeah. But otherwise, Taylor Swift. I'd like to have a big glass of wine with Taylor Swift
Yeah.
and just in her house, I think,
Perfect.
with Travis.
2.
Oh my God.
Double bill.
Can we have with my, no, not with my grandma. I don't think she'd get it, but yeah.
Grandma with the vodka first, then off to Taylor.
Yeah.
Last question. If you could only drink one beverage other than water for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Champagne.
Oh, fun. People have been really throwing me off with these. All my, beer guests, I'm expecting to say beer and they say coffee. You're not answering whiskey, you say champagne. I love it.
Yeah.
What is that thing that just brings you the joy that you want a little sip of every day?
A good champagne.
Of course.
I don't want bargain champers. I
No.
want really absolute, it just, I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't have it often. So that when I do have it, it's like, oh, this is great. So if I had it every day, I probably wouldn't enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. But if it's your only option other than water, then you get to treat yourself.
See, but then, see, this is the dream product, the one
Yeah.
the dream drink that you would have every day. You're like, oh my God, this would be amazing. What if I could drink champagne every day? This is great. In reality, you'd never get anything done. So it probably would be coffee because I do drink that every
I
day.
think I need a coffee sponsor. Everybody's coming to coffee. Is like silly.
I mean, but that's the realistic response, isn't it? So I guess if you
Just
can't
pushing
drink water,
productivity, huh?
does squash count?
Oh,
Version
could
of
you have
water?
squash in your water? No, that's an extra. Yeah.
What would you have? Have you answered this yet?
Iced tea. Well, I guess I would just say tea in general, because then I could have it iced, I could have it hot.
So you're thinking strategically as well.
Yeah. As opposed to tasty beverages, yeah. And
Yeah.
water and tea. Yeah. But I mean, is tea just
Do you have milk in your tea?
not if it's iced. Because then would that be another? I know.
I was gonna
We're
say,
getting so meta here.
if you have a hot tea, you couldn't put milk in, or could you put milk in it? But you couldn't have the milk on its own.
Yeah, I like rooibos tea.
What
I
are the
don't
rules
really do
here?
caffeine. I'll make some stricter rules. I'll come back. We'll have a part 3.
Are we lucky we don't live in a world where we have to actually decide these
We
things?
have that limitation. Exactly. Oh my goodness. All right. We could chat forever. We have done, but it's been amazing. Thank you so much.
Nat, you are so amazing. And I just want to put it on the record that I think the questions that you've asked in this podcast, which apparently is now a 2-parter, they've been the most insightful and interesting questions I've ever been asked in my career. So thank you. It's been a real pleasure to be on your podcast.
Well, I'm glad you have so much to share with us. So yeah, thank you.
Always.
A massive, massive thank you to Becky for all she shared with us over these past 2 episodes. Unfortunately, I do have some sad news to report. Becky's cat Isla passed away a few weeks ago. Hopefully, Becky will soon be able to make that trip to Tasmania in her honor. You've got Becky's Guess Best Reel to look forward to on my Instagram this week. Then the final episode of Cheers with Nat Season 1 will be in your feed next Wednesday. Thanks, as always, for listening. Cheers!